And here we are again. So it has been a few weeks since I last streamed, and that mainly due to vacation. So I've been away for a few weeks up to Canada. That was actually quite nice, but now I'm back and I'm ready to do some new streaming. Today I will be continuing on the stuff that I've been doing a few weeks ago, which is basically enhancing one of the web arts that my company has built, and we want to make it more customizable, and I want to enable my colleagues to do that themselves. And they are not programmers, so I'm looking for a way for them to extend the web parts with additional sources where they can get data from, using stuff like Flow, for example, or logic apps, which they can operate. And a few weeks ago, I built the API, and I tested that out using a flow with a custom connector. Today I'm looking to hook it up to the web parts. But first, let's do a quick recap of what I'm building. Let's start by taking a look at the web part as it is, as what it looks like currently. So let me switch to my desktop. So in codes, I currently have the web part running, and as it is an SPFX, so a SharePoint Framework extension, we can run it inside the workbench. So let me launch the workbench and we can take a look at it. So I'm launching it from a demo tenant that we have. So let me switch to browser with that demo tenant, and this is the URL to the workbench. And every SharePoint Online environment has this workbench, and here we can host our web parts, which is called my starting point. That doesn't look too good. Let's see what happens if I pick the other one. All right, that's better. So it will say a simple message, my name, and in this case I'm signed in with a demo user. We can update several settings, but we can also add some user data, and that's basically the relevant part of this web part. I need to refresh in order for it to show. And there we go. So now we can see the many meetings I have today in this demo account and how many emails there are in my inbox. And we have 2 additional sources as well. So we can also show Yammer messages and Yammer notifications. But these are all the built-in sources. If we want to add additional sources, currently it's necessary for a developer to add these additional sources, make a custom build of this web part. That's not really flexible and it requires development effort. So what we want to do is be able to add additional sources very easily so that we can have different sources per customer eventually. So in order to achieve that, we are building a solution. And if you've previously watched this, it will be familiar for you. But so we have this web parts. Let's see, font it to green, so let's start black. So we have the web parts. It says hello. That's what we saw. And then we can have these sources. Some sort of an icon. And they have a number. We can edit the sources. And what we want to do now is be able to add additional sources. So we have created an API. Let me draw that over here. And that API is built using Azure Functions. So right now when we edit it, we want to have the web part ask for sources. The API will return a list of sources that can be configured, and in runtime the web part will ask for the value for one of these sources, and the API will return the value. So we have stored the sources in a table. Let's try that again. And that's where it gets the sources from. And in order to get the source into the table, we can of course do that manually. But to make it easier for the not so technical people, we can create flows or logic apps. And we will use a custom trigger. And that trigger, when you configure it, will actually do a webhook registration with our API. So it basically tells the API the URL that it can call to trigger this flow. And at the end of the flow, we do a response, and it will let it go. Oh, something is really messing with my machine right now. Yeah, so I did not write response over here. What's going on? Response. So we have a response shape, and that will return the value to the API when the API requests the value from the flow. Okay, let me turn off Teams for a minute. Oh boy. This is not good. Come on. Go away. There we go. And let's take a look at what we currently have built. So currently what I have running in Visual Studio is the Azure function with the API, and I have running in code the web parts, and I can now use Postman to do a call to our API, and it will ask me to give me the value for the alpha signals source. So that's the name that I gave it when I configured the trigger in the flow. And it will now do a call to the flow, get the answer, and the answer is 3 in this particular case. So now we want to call this particular function from our web parts. So basically 2 things. One, we need to show our custom source in the list of sources where we can pick from. And 2, we want to, in runtime, call the source to get the actual data from the source. And my machine is very sluggish and I'm not sure why that is. Let's see in Task Manager what's going on. We have some system interrupts, but not really that big of a deal. But my Task Manager is not responding, which is clearly not very good. Okay. We will continue, but I find it pretty odd that it is that slow. Anyway, what I can do is turn off my other screen, so let me do that. That saves on the bandwidth. It's pretty settings. I want to only show that screen. Show only on 2. Changes. There we go. Okay, we're still live. That's good. Maybe this works a little bit better. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, I just screwed up my resolution. Hang on. Sorry about this. To a more proper resolution. There we go. Yes. All right. Back in the game, hopefully. Anyway, so let's dive a little bit into the web parts and see where it gets its data from. And it has been a while since I touched this, so we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to figure it out again. So let's start with the beginning. So this is the web part. It has a lot of properties. And there's also a part in here when you can trigger the configuration. It's over here. So there's a get property pane configuration on each web part, and it returns a set of configuration settings, which are pages, so you can separate the configuration into multiple pages if you like, and then have multiple groups. And I'm now looking for the group for the user data, and this is the one, and it uses a property pane user data attribute selector, which is a custom component, and it gets fed all the properties. Now let's just check this out. So I jumped to the definition using F12. Props. Creates the user data attribute selector, feeds in the user attributes, and gets those from the properties, targets, property. Yeah, how does that work? So let's keep this open. Go back again. Oh yeah, so this is the name of the property that is being used, which is an array of user data attributes. Okay, that's cool. And the selector needs to show the options properly. Okay, these are the options. Like I mentioned, we have 4 options, and they are also in a category. And somehow we need to extend the options with our own options. It's using some find constructs. What does that do? The get options. Let's jump to that. Okay. Yeah, so basically what this does is, if I go here, so if I show the options here, I can pick any option except the options that has already been selected below. So if I add another one, the list will get smaller and smaller, and eventually we have none left. So that's basically what that function does, with some fancy smancy stuff. But basically it gets down to updating these options. Right. So now they're static, so we need to fetch them from an API. How are we to do that? Are we going to select them or get them as part of the... Yeah, we need them more places than just here, because we also need to have the sources. When we are going to get the value. So maybe it's best if we do it on the onInit. Can we make this async? Probably could. It's promise anyway. So now we can call stuff from here. So let's just check it out. So we should be able to do fetch. Let's see. No, that's not the right one. So get user date options. We execute this, it will give us a list of all the options that we have available. Well, let's check this out. Await this. Response. False stats. Our JSON equals await response. Okay. Refresh. Of course, of course. Will it work if I go through ng-rock? Will that fix the course for me? Can always try. So I have ng-rock running, which basically is a tunnel from the internet to my local host, so that I can access my API running locally here in this functions local runtime, but from the cloud, so that I can access it from, for example, Flow or similar. But maybe that will fix the course as well. it's trying to request over HTTP, which is not allowed. That makes sense. Let's try again. Save it. Was not completely built yet. Come on. Lots. Same port issue. Something that we can fix. Cannot do course. What would be the easiest way to test this? See if this works. That would require me to restart NGRock. Maybe this works. Let's see. Hmm. Yep, works. And also through NGRock as well. That's kind of cool. So this works as well. How awesome is this? Very cool. So this means that we can get the user data options dynamically, but of course this is not a very Very nice. So let's see. Probably want to have something. Probably create something like a user data option provider. Usually I tend to name these services, but in this case we call them data providers. It's not that a big deal. So let's create the user name TS, which is just a simple class. And on that class we would have a function which is async get user data actions. Be able to import it. There we go. And we should be able to move this part to here. Go. And good part would be that I should be able to augment it. Here are the options. So basically I want to get rid of this and augment the options here. Our options is this static list of options augmented with my options. But are not in the format of the key text category. We have a title and a callback URL. So I need to map those. Now we know what type it is, user data attribute. Ideally, we want to limit the number of models that we have. since we already have a that's defined in the main user data attribute selector kind of sucks. Let's get rid of this over here and make a proper model out of it. User data attributes s attribute option. In this case, it has a key number. Why does it have a number? Because it's an enum. That should not be a number anymore. So let's make this a string. Should work just fine. And return. So So what if my function would just return the right formats? User data attributes. See, this is something else again. Oh, this is model. Oh my. Why is this a different type? Does not make sense. So what's the difference between this? This is a type as data, title, and a URL. Now this is the data part of it, and this is the option part of it. And then we have one more. This is the enumerator. Move that away from there as well. And the models directory. Let's delete that. Type, we can make this a string as well. Calendar event counts. So let's go back to the selector. It's inside controls and we need to move the models out of the web parts into source. There we go. Now the model should be model can be found again. Clean this up, that looks better. So we have the data option here again. All these files have been updated because of the location of the model. It has changed, which is just fine. So let's rename this. It should be option. So an option has a key, a text, a category, and in my case also a call. Let's go to the models. User data attribute option, query and option, callback URL string. Now, what better to do than have my function return the exact same formats. And let's not call it user data option, user data attributes option. Keep it in line with now. Let's clean it up. Okay, doesn't build. Still, let's see. Looks like it's data, attributes, options, none. The table probably also has been renamed. Attribute options. Save. Kinda not like the name. User detail attributes options. Yeah. Hey. What can we do about it right now? So let's just stick with the name for now and have it return a key text and category. So key is something internally, so that can be the same as text. Key category. Maybe we need to provide that option to the user. So we have a key. We have a text, a category, we store it, we only need to have the category to store, or let's do it like this. So when we subscribe it, we use this for the category. And we use this for the key. And the URL. When you unsubscribe. Just that the ID. Otherwise, we need to know the category. Category here. Yes. So now we can unsubscribe as well. Here we get the options. This should be key. The text in our case will be similar, and the category will be petition key. Okay, and then we get the value. Category. So it's becoming already very different. Does this still run? Let's check it out. It does. It's kind of ugly. So why have we sometimes capital? I do not like that name. User data attribute options. Should I just name them attributes? It's also silly. Subscribe. Should include the category in the URL so that we get the proper URL. Now we should have a key. Subscribe. Key. Category. system, for example. Be nice on the subscribe. Let's enable having a different text. So now at least the URLs are more similar. Exactly. Then I would need to update my custom connector. To the definition. I cannot update these, so I could do. I could download it. Open it over here. Let's see. So that's about it. So we've updated the Swagger. I can now edit it. Custom connector. No way. No way. Updates from Open API files. What I was looking for. So I can now import a modified Swagger and have my API automatically updated. So it should say attribute option, attribute options, perfect. Subscribe, attribute option, attribute options. Update the connector, let's see if it works. So now if I were to refresh, let's see if I grock inspect still open. Connector not found. That makes sense because it has been renamed. Connect data attribute option. So now we have a title and a category. So plus signals custom, for example. Boom. Saved. Let's see. There's a post. Key category. Excellent. Although the text probably now. Refresh this. Whole table. Probably the text is empty because I'm not setting it through the custom connector. So what I should do if it is not set, use the we don't have a text. Make it more reliable. String dot is null or white space. Use the key and otherwise use the text. There we go. And let's try it again. So let's go back to flow. Make a simple modification so it triggers the webhook subscription. There it went. And let's see. Open. Refresh. Boom. There it is. These two. Now let's see if the unsubscribe also works. So again, if I were to make some change to the name, it will trigger the webhook registration and deregistration. Right. So I should have still two. So the deregistration is giving me some hard time. Maybe that's because I only see the post coming through, but not the delete. Why is that? That's probably why. Because this is the delete. For the delete, we need to have the category. Yes. And parameters are and category. Sure what the UPN does actually. First, let's update. Using Swagger. So now we have the unsubscribe, which looks like this. Category and ID. And subscribe.
Dark out, I sit in bed, I feel the sleep dark in my eyes. Still awake this late at night, a day done and nothing to write. Some say it's difficult to find.
Find the response that is generated from your service when Events, web register workers. No, it's not VPN, but it's fine. Save it again. Refresh. One modification. And then hopefully we should be able to see delete now. There we go. There we go. This is better. So now it will also clean up. Perfect. So it's now registering. And it's returning in the same format as we expect here. So using the key, text, and category. Yeah, it's now adding the text as well. That's what we wanted. So now we can join these two together. And then turn that array with all our options. We are references. There we go. Now we want, so we have this user data options provider here. This doesn't matter that much. No. Can just have this class defined here and export a single version of it, a singleton. Defaults, new user data options provider. Data which reads user data attributes options provider. Attributes. Options provider. Get user data attribute options. In the web parts, we don't care that much about the user data options provider. We can get that from elsewhere. But we remove everything. Basically, what we need to do is in this selector, instead of having a static options, we could async components did mount, and here we can load the options with from user data attribute options provider. Import the user data and user these. Yes. Computer data options. Boom. And then this state. Now we store the options inside of our state. Could rewrite this so that we don't need to have a defined structure. Similar to what we see here below. Actually, we write it like a lambda. So we have to initialize the state. Like this. So now it cannot find the options anymore. Because they're now getting from the state. Okay. Let's see. Do we have a working example? No. Groups. User data attributes. Push. Add button, click. Oh yeah, when you select it, it will add it to the list of user data attributes. So the user data attributes here, it has this type. Basically, this will be the key, and it will be a string from now on. But not as a selectable. String them. More key issues. What happened? Yes, please. Ooh. Maybe, just maybe. Type plus type. Let's just rename it using F2. And it will probably rename it automatically. So now recompiling. Let's give it a few seconds. Does not appear to be recompiling, so let's just kick it off again. Okay, so no more errors. That's nice. Reloads. Okay, cool. Now let's see. Ooh. There are our custom values. That's kind of nice. User data attribute selector dot on type changed through an error. Cannot read property text of undefined. Line 113. In user attribute selector 113. Type changed. Could be that the current option, we don't have a current option. That makes sense because I configured it prior, so maybe if I threw this away, add it again. Refresh maybe. Why is this button grayed out? What's the deal with that? Disabled. Wait, yeah, I do not have. Not sense. Yeah, they are, none of them are a number. It should work even better. And if this works, then we'll wrap it up for today. Alright, reloads. So I can now reload this. Go to edits. Arrgh. That kind of sucks. So get options. That sucks. Let's see. Let's see if we at least get some options. Non 6. So we get 6 options. What goes out? They just don't have a item type explicitly set. There we go. Now click the button. Can read property text of undefined. Almost there. Show me reloads. Come on. There we go. Edits. That. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. 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 Oh yeah. Okay, so this works. Let's remove all those. Let's see. This is now not gonna work, obviously. Alright, so loading custom sources works. Next stream will go ahead and continue and actually get the value in runtime. So that's the next step. And maybe we also want to find a way to configure an icon, because now we're missing an icon. So that's gonna be the next step. For today, it's a wrap. All right, see you next time. Bye bye. Cause everything